We've got Malachy Ugwumadu joining us. He's a legal practitioner and also the president of CDHR. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Pleasure again to be here. Thank you.
Well, this matter, but I mean, they were supposed to have been charged to court, the judges. But many are asking, what is going on? Is 1, 2, 3, how many times are we going to keep waiting for them to be charged to court? I mean, first of all, by now they should have. What do you think is wrong with them not being charged?
Just in the same way that even the disgruntled judicial officers ought to have also gone to court by now in protest and resentment of what was perceived to be the violation of their rights. Indeed, we are all witnesses to letters written to NJC seeking leave, that kind of practice. So, criminal investigation and prosecution is not what you rush into, but as you rush out of it.
Do you then subscribe to those who think that something was fundamentally wrong with that operation, and so if you go to court as it is now, you have a bad case?
In what way? I think the issues are clear. Look, first I admit that this is a very sensitive matter that has polarized the nation as a whole, not just the legal profession, along the line of those in support and those against. But I think that at the heart of it draws and points to the convictions of both parties. I mean, those in support and those against.
But let me just draw this. Those who have supported it, but many who have spoken here think we would need to fight corruption. Anyone who is found, face the music, go to jail if need be. But there's a rule of law in this country, not that of force.
As of today, I represent the Committee for Defense of Human Rights. That is one body that has a track record of effective engagement as far as issues of rule of law and human rights are concerned. What are the rule of law issues involved in this matter? The argument has been that, oh no, they exercised excessive force and they went beyond their bounds in tackling this issue. Even the person sitting down, my initial reaction regarding the raid, the mistaken identity of one of the judges was to condemn it. Facts have come out, much more than we had at that initial time, to prove and convincingly establish that all went according to the law. What is the law? It is at first that the category of persons judicial officers proceeded against do not enjoy immunity beyond investigation and prosecution. If you say they have judicial immunity, that is with respect to the discharge of their statutory duties as judges in courts. The same way, you also have some measure of legislative immunity regarding the capacity of members of the parliament to do what they have to do within the precincts of the parliament. That does not mean that if you take a sledgehammer right in the hallowed chambers of the parliament and deliberately hits your colleague, leading to his death, you'll be charged, you'll be arrested, prosecuted, and possibly convicted for murder or manslaughter, as the case may be. Now, what is the point? It is that we must decide whether we're going to move forward or move backward. We have been in this country since the return of democracy. Let's even focus on this last, from 1999 up to this moment. We have also seen the debilitating implications and the weight of corruption on the survival of this nation. We have all along pretended, and I've had cause to ask a few of the judges whom I encountered in this process, not just in Lagos, even in Abuja. Now, if you are a member of a congregation, say a denomination of a Christian community, or even a Muslim, and you hear that either you are a reverend father or you are a pastor, or even an imam is meddling with women or fiddling with children, I will not just stop at pushing that they should be punished. I will insist that they should be ostracized. That way, it will be clear that you are not part of the mess.
No, but
my conclusion, and this is
people saying
my conclusion,
should not be prosecuted. People have said yes, they have to be prosecuted, but you have to just clarify some issues. I mean, they ask also that, look, okay, fine, if the DSS, I mean, they were the ones who largely carried out that raid, do they also expect the DSS to be the one to charge them to court and go ahead, because they're not used to seeing the DSS do cases on corruption, because they thought you have agencies that specialize in that, because you don't want this case falling flat on its face in court.
There are interagency collaborations as far as issues of security and prosecutions are concerned. The fact that I have once had, and I think it was on this station that I mentioned, I've had a client who was alleged to be exporting fake foreign currencies. He was arrested by NDLEA, that is the National Drug Law Enforcement Agencies. Officially, after that arrest and their preliminary investigation, they transferred her to the EFCC. It was the EFCC that prosecuted, even if we were able to defend successfully.
So in this case, is it that the police is incapable of carrying?
No, we have not gotten to that bridge. And I had thought that the argument has always been, you breach the rule of, what is the rule of law in this matter? Is it that they cannot be investigated? And investigation in law also includes
that was exactly the question. That was exactly the question I asked Mr. Odumake. You recall, I had asked him when he talked about due process. I wanted to find out what exactly was due process in this whole process, because to start with, the DSS did say they had their permit, the warrant. But going forward, looking at what the first guest onto this program highlighted, he said the manner and the timing was wrong. So, and he's also a lawyer like yourself. So let's look at the timing and the manner with which, in this case, he's talking about them approaching the judges' homes in the thick of the night and unmasked.
I didn't have the privilege of listening. I was on the way coming to this place. But let's even deal with them just as you have presented them. The administration of criminal justice, let's even start with the National Security Agency Act, which is an existing law. You may disagree with the law, but don't pretend as if the law does not exist. Please, that point must be made. If you concede to that, the question will be, what does the law say? The law is to the effect that the DSS can investigate and arrest with respect to issues bordering on the purview of the rights and powers that they have, particularly internal security. That is the law. That law is contained specifically under Section 3, Section 2, Subsection 3, A to C. That law, National Security Agency Act, is a law that is presently in operation by reason of Section 315 of the Constitution, which preserves existing laws. Don't forget, that law was made under the military. Secondly, because you talk about time, the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, 2015, an existing law, empowers the law enforcement agencies, including SSS, DSS, police, and all that, to effect and execute the warrant of arrest at any time of the day, including weekends, public holidays, and so on and so forth. It used to be that warrant of arrest must be executed within the hours of 5 a.m. and the hours of 8 p.m. That's Section 111 of the Criminal Procedure Act. But that is already a defunct, an extinct law by reason of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act.